Part 1. The Legend of Romulus and Remus. The fire crackles, casting long shadows against the rough stone walls. An old storyteller, wrapped in a heavy woolen cloak, leans forward, his voice deep and rich with mystery. "Come closer, children," he says. "Tonight, I shall tell you the tale of how Rome was born, of two brothers, of fate, of wolves, and of blood. Long ago, in the land of Latium, there was a mighty king named Numitor who ruled over the city of Alba Longa. He was just and wise, beloved by his people. But power breeds envy, and his treacherous younger brother, Romulus, harbored a dark ambition. One night, in a swift and ruthless coup, Romulus overthrew Numitor, banishing him from his throne. To ensure that no rightful heir would rise against him, Romulus ordered Numitor's daughter, Rhea Silvia, to become a Vestal virgin, bound by sacred vows never to bear children. But the gods had other plans. One night, Rhea Silvia was visited by Mars, the god of war, and soon she bore twin sons, Romulus and Remus. The usurper Romulus, in his paranoia, feared the prophecy that one day these children would reclaim their grandfather's throne. He commanded that the infants be taken from their mother and cast into the Tiber River, left to the mercy of the waters. Yet fate is not so easily undone. The river, swollen with the rains of spring, did not consume the twins. Instead, it carried their frail basket gently along its currents until it became lodged among the roots of a great fig tree on the Palatine Hill. There, the infants lay, crying and helpless, when a she-wolf, her golden eyes burning in the moonlight, emerged from the wilderness. She did not devour them, as one might expect. Instead, she nursed them, her warm breath keeping them alive, her milk strengthening their small bodies. The twins grew under her watchful care until they were discovered by a kindly shepherd named Faustulus and his wife, who raised them as their own. Romulus and Remus grew into strong and fearless young men, their hearts burning with the spirit of warriors. They were natural leaders, gathering a band of outcasts and shepherds around them. When they finally learned of their true heritage, they led an uprising against Romulus, striking down the tyrant and restoring Numitor to his rightful throne. Yet their destiny was not to rule Alba Longa. They desired a city of their own, a new beginning. They set out to find the perfect place, and upon reaching the banks of the Tiber, they chose a land of 7 hills. Here, they would build their great city. But even gods cannot prevent the pride of men. The brothers quarreled over where the foundations should be laid. Romulus favored the Palatine Hill, while Remus chose the Aventine. Seeking guidance, they turned to the gods, watching for omens in the flight of birds. Romulus saw 12 vultures, Remus only 6, and so Romulus claimed divine favor. But Remus did not yield. In his defiance, he leaped over the low walls Romulus had begun to build, mocking their insignificance. Furious, Romulus struck his brother down, his rage as fierce as that of the war god who had fathered him. And so, with blood, Rome was founded. Romulus became its first king, naming the city after himself, and thus began the story of an empire that would one day rule the world. The old storyteller leans back, his face lit by the dying embers. But was this the true beginning of Rome? Or was there something more? A tale not of gods and wolves, but of men, settlers, and the march of history. He smiles knowingly. That, my children, is a story for another night. Part 2. The first settlers and the rise of a village. The legend of Romulus and Remus is a tale that has endured for centuries. But beneath the veil of mythology lies the reality of Rome's true beginnings. While the story of the wolf and the twins gave the Romans a divine origin, historians and archaeologists paint a different picture, one of humble beginnings, struggle, and gradual rise to power. Long before Rome became an empire, even before it was a kingdom, it was little more than a collection of huts on the Palatine Hill. Archaeological evidence suggests that by the 10th century BCE, small communities of Latin-speaking tribes had settled along the Tiber River. They were farmers and herders, living off the fertile land and relying on trade with neighboring peoples. These early settlers were not alone. To the north lay the Etruscans, a mysterious and advanced civilization that built great cities and influenced much of early Roman culture. To the south were the Greeks, who had established colonies along the coast of Italy, bringing with them their rich traditions, philosophy, and art. Rome, situated at the crossroads of these powerful neighbors, became a melting pot of influences, absorbing ideas and innovations that would shape its identity. But survival was not easy. The Tiber River, though a source of life, was also a source of danger. Floods could wash away homes, and the surrounding hills were often raided by rival tribes. The early Romans learned to fortify their settlements, building primitive defenses and forming alliances with other Latin communities. It was this resilience, this determination to endure, that laid the foundation for what would one day become a mighty city. By the 8th century BCE, Rome had begun to take shape as more than just a scattered group of villages. The Palatine Hill, believed to be the heart of the original settlement, became the center of a growing town. Wooden huts gave way to sturdier structures, and communal spaces began to emerge. Markets were established, trade routes expanded, and a sense of unity among the people began to develop. Yet Rome was still young, still vulnerable. It was not yet the grand city of marble and columns, not yet the seat of emperors. It was a place of farmers, warriors, and dreamers, a village on the rise. But even in these early days, the spirit of Rome was already taking shape, a spirit of ambition, resilience, and an unyielding desire to grow. And so, as the settlement of Rome slowly expanded, the stage was set for the rise of its first kings. But who would lead this fledgling city? Who would shape its laws and traditions? That, my friends, is a tale for another night. Part 3. The Birth of a Kingdom. As Rome grew, it needed more than just farmers and traders. It needed leaders, laws, and a sense of order. And so, the city's first monarchy was born. Romulus, its legendary founder, became its first king, ruling with strength and ambition. He established a government, dividing the people into social classes and forming the first Senate, a council of elders who would advise the king. Under Romulus and his successors, Rome expanded its influence, forging alliances with neighboring tribes and asserting its dominance. The city became known for its warriors, men hardened by struggle and battle, ready to defend their home at any cost. Slowly, Rome transformed from a small village into a thriving kingdom, setting the stage for its destiny as a great power. But Rome's monarchy would not last forever. In time, kings would be overthrown, republics would rise, and emperors would command legions that conquered the known world. Yet it all began here, on the banks of the Tiber, where a she-wolf once nurtured two abandoned boys, and where a city of destiny first took root.